One of the things you'll commonly encounter with the Apple IIEs is missing keys when you get these used. One of the things you can do is take keys from a sacrificial keyboard, one of which could even come from a Macintosh, the model M0110, or the extended one. The keys fit the same and the mechanisms are pretty similar. So what you would do is disassemble a Macintosh keyboard or another sacrificial one that maybe was missing more keys or didn't work. Take the circuit board out, and what you'll find is each button actually is its own electrical switch with two leads on it. So what you need to do is remove the solder from those leads as the first step. And for me, I attempt to use the copper mesh, and it would even be more helpful if you added some flux onto it so it'll help absorb into the mesh. Personally not very good at doing this and usually scrape up the circuit board, but in this case, because it's already a broken sacrificial keyboard, it's not a big deal. It'd be a bigger deal if it's on the recipient keyboard, and in which case I would be taking a lot more care not to remove the solder pads. Now on these, fortunately, if the solder pad does actually come off from excessive heat or a little bit too rough work with the soldering iron, is you can use some sandpaper to remove the coating off the wire leading to the pad, and then add some flux to it, and then use a wire and actually solder a wire directly to that to replace the missing pad. The other challenge on this is the keys are clipped into place into a metal frame, and so you really would be great if you had two people, but if once the solder is removed, you really need either two pairs of needle nose pliers, one to pull it out, one to push the clips in, or a pair of tweezers to push the clips in and then pull it out with the pliers. It's a challenge, but once you've done a few of them, it's not too bad. The other thing you will probably encounter is you won't have a key for a donor keyboard that matches the potential missing letter, number, or other key that you have. For instance, I was missing a Apple key. So what you can do based on this picture is sand off whatever is on there. For instance, the tab button's roughly the size of the Apple. Sand it off, scrape it off the best you can, and then with a very fine line permanent marker, do your best to draw it in. Now, a collector may not really care for that. If you're just looking for functionality and better than nothing, that's not bad. Finding a recipient key on eBay, people are usually getting maybe $4 to $8 depending on what their shipping charges are. So finding an actual key could add up a little bit. But if you're not that picky on this, or if this is like your second, third, or fourth Apple just sitting on a shelf as a backup in case that breaks, this method may work for you. Thanks for watching, everybody. One more critical step that you want to remember too is to test the switch before you actually solder it into the recipient keyboard. A lot of them do have problems. For my test, I just have a simple 9-volt with a resistor and an old Christmas light. Complete the circuit when the switch is in there. You can use your fancy stuff, but this is my poor man's continuity tester. Good luck.